Shabbat Shalom, Hili Matov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How wonderful it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together. Page 128. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, Ya la la, Ya la 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 la. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, Ya la la, Ya la 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 la. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. And if you are new to this congregation, please stand and introduce yourself, or have the person who invited you introduce you. Okay, Judy's going to mention about Richard. Go ahead. We're thrilled to have you. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Judy. And yes, over there. Fantastic, Phil. Fantastic. And who else is on that row with you? Okay. Hello, Bonnie. Okay. All right. Phil, Bonnie, and Bob. Now, you're all welcome. We on the first Friday of the month, we have our service at 5 o'clock, and then we go out to dinner. We're going to Alfredo's Mexican Cantina right on Narbonne, and just a little bit in between Lomita and the temple. So you're welcome to join us. We already have 23 people coming. Probably most of you that are here. So Cinco de Mayo was yesterday, so this is how we roll, so you're welcome to join us. On the third Friday, we have a dinner here that is catered, and you can RSVP for that, and then we have the service at 6:30. So those that want a later service and light the candles, that will be the third Friday. And then definitely for this month and next month, we have a second Saturday service at 10:30 in the morning. And we're very excited. Who says we're an older congregation? We have a baby naming next Saturday. So Skylar has her big sister, so we'll be sending out the announcement with the photos next week. Judy, we will be sending it to you, so thank you. So let's thank God and welcome in them angels for Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem on page 142. 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharem, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Vo'echem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, lot of ruach, a lot of spirit in this room. Page 138, Lecha Dodi, as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. We are meant to be in partnership with the divine, and Shabbat gives us the opportunity to further connect with our loved ones and our community by being here together. So Lecha Dodi, and when we get to verse 9, you can rise and turn and face the door and greet the Shabbat bride. 138. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'nivor echad hishmiyanu el hamelech Adonai echad v'shema echad l'Shem l'tiferet v'litehila. The chorus. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech mi ori, 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 shedaveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Everybody. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha v'tzachara tochem b'nei am segula v'lichala v'lichala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Woo! Please be seated. Excellent, excellent spirit in this room. It is so exciting. So now if you will turn in your prayer books and let us read together on the bottom of page 145. And we need to think about this because our parsha, this Shabbat, is Kedoshim. It is the holiness code. Entrances to holiness are everywhere together. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. And then up above it, teach me, O God, a blessing, together a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. And you see that it says, teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, and the mystery on ripened fruit so fair. And Richard came bearing gifts. He has brought everybody oranges. So, and actually oranges, at the Passover Seder, I was asked why in the past we've had the orange there, or the grapefruit signifying Miriam and equality, so we need to make sure that that's on the Seder plate next year. So the box is back there when you come in. They're fresh, they're organic, and they're for you. So thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. So now we have the Hatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitgadol v'yikdash merava ve'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chai yechon v'yom echon v'chai yechol beit Yisrael v'agala v'agala v'zman karim rom. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Ul'almei Almaya Yitmarach V'yishtamach V'yitpa'ar V'yitraman V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitalev V'yithalal Shemei D'Kudashah V'rechu Le'ela Min Kol V'chata V'shirata Tishvechata V'nechemata Da'amiran V'alma V'yimeru. Amen. And so we have now separated with the Hatzi Kaddish our warm-up exercises for the spirituality of our soul, our Kabbalat Shabbat, and now we have our official call to worship on page 146, the Baruch Hu. And let us read on the bottom of page 147 first. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and the warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and the joy of your presence. The Baruch Hu on page 146. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. And now, if you will turn to page 148 and 149, let's read on the top of page 149 together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. And then the text of that prayer is on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bivaro ma'ari v'aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, u'vitbuna meshaneh hitim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et ha'kochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, v'rayom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'mavir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'vein layla, Adonai Sabaoth Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'Aravim. So even if you don't know how to read the Hebrew, if you just gaze upon it, Kabbalistically, in the mystical side of Judaism, that is a meditation in and of itself. It's like, beam me up, Scotty, you are the channel between the heavenly realm and the physical realm. And we are that connection, that energy force that brings light through our prayer at this time throughout the world. Ahavat Olam on page 150. And as our wonderful musicians are playing, let us read together the English text on the bottom of 150 under the prayer. Everlasting love, you offered your people, Yisrael, by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Yisrael. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah and mitzvot, v'kimu nishtalim, v'vahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Be'ahavatecha And so now if you'll turn to 152 and 153, we have the Shema. And, you know, at times of holy days and festivals, people tend to move into the spiritual realm. And I don't know what is going on with Torrance in the South Bay, but I have had all of these hospice companies calling me to go do the prayers, sing the Shema for people. I've had 4 people in the last 2 months, really mostly since Passover. But the most important thing is that the Shema is the watchword of our faith. It is our acknowledgement that we bear witness to the oneness of God. So let us read together, and then if you'd like to stand for the Shema or sit, whatever makes that connection for you, please do. So together, hear, O Yisrael, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. And if you'd like to block the light and you can make that connection, cover your eyes, or you can do the shin like this, or whatever is comfortable for you so that you can make that meditation. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Hafta can be found on page 154. And let us read together on the top of 155 before doing the prayer. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. So when you hear this sermon, I want you to remember that it says they are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. The Ve'ahavta on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'elem asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, veribartavam, veshitecha vevetecha, uvelechtecha vaderech, uveshochtecha, uvekumecha, ukashartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotapot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, Leman tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hiyatem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim l'hiyot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. So I was asked, do we do a lot of English or not a lot of Hebrew? And I said, no, we do a good amount of English, and we've had a few adult B'nai Mitzvah classes where everyone's learned their Hebrew, but I'm actually surprised at how much Hebrew we actually have. And you guys are doing it. I'm very proud of you. But as we gather more troops to the cause of furthering Emet, maybe we will have another class. And if you noticed, even though I've been doing these for 27 years professionally, I still look at the Hebrew. Why? For the connection, to make that connection. So even if you just gaze upon it, you will be connecting. So that is what we want to do. So now if you will turn the page. It's our custom to dance around, if you want to dance around the perimeter, the outside of the pews. For the Micha Mocha, we will do that on 158. But first, let us read the bottom of page 157 as we contemplate the state that our world is now in. It is our prayers when we come together in a minyan of at least 10 or more. Baruch Hashem, we have more than 10. We're doing very well. Thank you, God. Thank you to all of you for showing up. Our prayers have kavanah, intention and purpose, and really do make a difference. So together, let's read. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Yisrael did, singing on the shores of the sea, the Micha Mocha on page 158. You can dance if you want. Stacy at the helm with that percussion, Mary Ann with that violin, our own fiddler on the roof. And Mark Riker, those of you that don't know, he is 88 years young, and he is an example to us all of what it means to be one with God and have the Spirit flowing through you. So now if you'll turn to page 160 and 161, we have our evening prayer, our Hashkivenu, which is our now I lay me down to sleep, I pray, dear Lord, my soul to keep prayer. So let us read at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Deep breath in. Out. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shamrenu l'chaim, u'faros aleinu sukan shlomecha, u'faros aleinu sukan shlomecha. Amen. U'faros aleinu sukat, sukat, shalom echa. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, u'faros aleinu sukat, sukat, shalom echa. And let's read on the bottom of page 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel for your name's sake, and be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Yisrael, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Yisrael, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'el kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we just had Israel Independence Day this past week. So Vishamru on page 162. Let's all get ready for that. It's very exciting. We're going to do our new version of it, which we have done sometimes at High Holy Days. Are we ready? V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת לא ינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. One last time. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Oh, very good. You guys have got that down. Thank you. To you as well. So please rise as the ark is opened. We have our Amidah on page 164, 166, 168, and then it concludes on page 170. Please note, what am I about to tell you about the prayer? Yes, very good from our president. After Passover, we do the insert for summer. Very good. That's why she's president. Okay. Among other wonderful gifts. Anananananana Adonai, ananananana Svatai Tiftach, ananananana Ufi Yadi Tehilatecha, ananananana Adonai, ananananana Svatai Tiftach, ananananana Ufi Yadi Tehilatecha, Adonai, ananananana Svatai Tiftach, ananananana Ufi Yadi Tehilatecha, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yadi Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטוב, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יהללוך סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. And now the reading on top of page 171. Days pass, and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated as the ark is being closed. And it's important, I want you to pay attention in the sermon, that we just read, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. So we reach out for holiness. This is the holiness code parsha, Kedoshim, Kedusha, holiness, and then how filled with awe is this place. So holiness, as you'll hear in the sermon, is attached to not only that which we do within ourselves, but time and space, and the place that we're in. So I've told you several times, what's the parsha today? Kedoshim, yes, very good, very good. Shabbat Shalom. Parsha Kedoshim is all about holiness, commanding that the Israelites will be holy, just as God is holy, with laws prescribed to ensure obedience and success. Just like our ultimate parent, we have that relationship, and we are meant to be obedient before God. God gives Moses both ethical and ritual laws for them to follow. Laws observing Shabbat, respecting our parents, not stealing, being generous of spirit through the mitzvah of charity, being honest in all of our business dealings, leaving portions of the field for the poor, and also the necessity to hold life, all life, as sacred. Along with this, of course, there are always some punishments. These were given for idolatry, sexual transgressions, and more. The famous command to love one's neighbor comes from this parsha. The great sage Rabbi Akiva is quoted as saying, "The command to love your neighbor as yourself is the guiding principle of the Torah." And Hillel elaborated further by saying the most famous phrase, "This is the entire Torah. All the rest is commentary. Love your fellow as yourself." Our world would be a much different place if everyone across the globe followed this golden rule. There's so much unrest, laws revisited, coming into question, with passions on both sides, amidst a humanity which is hanging in the balance on the brink of possible potential nuclear war. Our prayer is needed now more than ever. Do we all need to be wiped out again to learn lessons that have been passed down for generations? Not everyone transgresses, but the few who have the power and do can change the world for even the purest of heart. We can only hope that if one person, it is thought in Judaism, can save the world, as it is written, that when we come together in community to ponder, to question, to learn, to pray, and to strive for holiness, that our deeds will make a difference. Rabbi Isaiah Horowitz explains that Kedusha, meaning holiness or sanctity, is actually divided into categories. So, for example, one is the sanctity of the body, and the other, as we said, is the sanctity of space. This place is holy, and I did not know it. Having to do with a physical separation in a holy sacred space from others, from that which is profane. So how can we attain the level of holiness prescribed by God, that which is commanded of us? By following God's guidebook, our Torah, and being aware of all that God has given us, all of our glorious gifts, and most particularly the gift of life. We are meant to be holy as we are created in the image of God, and God is holy. We read that this evening. The space that we create and dwell within, our Mishkan Tefillah, this can be considered holy, just as our beautiful, beautiful soul, our being, the vessel that contains it, is holy. We are holy. This space is holy, a sacred space. Our body, which is considered holy, is divided into 3 levels. The sages spoke about this, and the categories are a beautiful residence, a beautiful wife, and beautiful furnishings to develop a man or woman's, I threw in the woman, mind. The word residence represents actually the heart, which is considered the seat of life itself. The word furnishings refers to the tools, one's tools that they have been given. The word wife corresponds to the holy, pure soul that we have that is connected to God. One is given the tools to perform the mitzvot, to honor the commandments, to perform and execute God's laws, and to keep far away from sin. The heart is the dwelling place of thought and contemplation, and it enables one to achieve spiritual elevation. When following the commandments to not hate, to not take revenge, or bear a grudge, has anyone ever done that? And the command to love your neighbor, it is the heart that guides us to our most noble and highest state. It is in our heart where all that is good can reside. The wife, representing the sanctity of the soul, is that part of God. Like when we light the 2 Shabbat candles and we say there is a partnership there, a partnership between 2 loving individuals and a partnership between us and God. Just as we should cleave to one another, cleave to God, we are meant to cleave to every mystical aspect of the Torah that we are capable of, and that changes over time. Kabbalistically, every one of our mundane activities then can assume a very sacred character. The sanctity of space is a mystical dimension which provides opportunities for honor and the elevation of our soul, just like when we come in here to pray. Even time itself has a sacred dimension. We are meant to sanctify time through the observance, as we do here tonight, of Shabbat. And for example, like we did just a couple weeks ago when we came together, all 70 of us right over here, reading the Haggadah, telling the story, and sharing the Seder together of Pesach. If we value the sanctity of time, the sanctity of space, and the holy rhythm that is built into our calendar, the faith, the rituals, and the life that we have, we will attain and remain holy. Everything we do, every single minute of the day, has the seed of sanctity within it. The sages say that when we separate the sacred time of Shabbat from the profane of the week, like we do with Havdalah, we bring that Shabbos spirit. I've got that Shabbat feeling up in my head, down in my toes, deep in my heart. We carry that Shabbos feeling, that Shabbos spirit forward. We carry with it a holiness that has the ability to affect and elevate the entire world. Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan, the founder of the Reconstructionist movement, describes holiness as the manner in which we react to persons, objects, places, and events, which we regard as indispensable to human welfare and self-realization. That to be holy means for power and goodness to exist in perfect harmony. This should be the goal for all humanity. Our world and the lives of our loved ones and each other across the globe would benefit from this, not just for our generation, but for those to come. We here at Emet embody many of the principles that we have talked about. This Parsha was even one of the ones chosen by our adult B'nai Mitzvah class. How many of you remember your Parsha was Kedoshim? It most reflected the message that their souls cleaved to, elevating them, connecting them with their journey with Judaism, holiness, and God. As we go forward, this year is just flying by. Do you not feel it is just dancing away from us as fast as it can? Let us consciously create sanctity in time, in space, and within our own being and those we love, those relationships. Let us reflect on the things that we do that make us holy. Let us be mindful and aware, and how we manifest holiness in our lives and all of our relationships. Then let us look at when we may have strayed, not being our best self, and then reach to do better. Mercury, those of you that know and we follow Mercury, did not believe in this all those many years ago. Mercury is going into retrograde. It starts next week and continues through the first week of June. So if communication breaks down, computers break down, cars break down, phones break down, or if you get a phone call out of nowhere, I basically have all of you as my family along with my children. I got a message, Mark Reichert, you will like this, from 23andMe. A very, very distant cousin reached out to me and said, "Hey, cousin, how are you? Haven't spoken." Yeah, in like maybe 50 years. That is Mercury in retrograde. So please take note and share some stories with us in June, mid-June, so we can further the cause. But to know that when we have Mercury in retrograde, we have an opportunity. It's not an accident. It always falls right now during the time between Passover and Shavuot, during the time of the counting of the Omer, and it always falls, it comes around the dark 3 negative weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av, right before Rosh Hashanah. So that time when we're meant to look back, look in, go forward, make amends, that's Mercury retrograde. It gives us that planetary thrust to do the work, to make ourselves better, our world better, our relationships better, and our life better. This time period connects and it parallels with the light that is available to us both at the festival of Passover, the giving of the commandments at Shavuot, and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Because we all think that we have some Jewish calendars back there, the New Year's Rosh Hashanah, but it's actually now, because this is when we became a people, right after Passover, right after our liberation and our redemption. We are given the time in our Judaic calendar and in our soul to reflect, to refresh, to renew, and to redeem ourselves so that what we share, how we behave, our choices, and our influence on the world and each other will elevate all. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. May it be so. Shabbat Shalom. And so now we are going to move forward in our service. You can turn to page 371, a prayer for those who are ill. And I want to, all of us, give special extra ruach and kavanah, intention in our prayers. Arlene Vida and her daughter Susan both have COVID. And they got it from the caregiver. But they're coming out of it, they're doing well, and I have been given permission to visit next week. But right now, they're working on that. So please send extra prayers to them. And Blade Thomas is going to rejoin our community as a member. And he has moved from Cedars. He's been in the hospital for a year, right over to the Beachside Acute Care Center over at Sepulveda and Maple. So we have a lot of people that are, Sandy Teicher has been moved as well. And he is, facing that transition time. And so we're grateful to the community that we have and the love that we share. And our prayers go out to those that are in need, those that we know of, those maybe we don't know, those in our own circle, our own families, and our temple family as well. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Think of your loved ones in your mind's eye. You can say their names aloud as Dan is playing. On page 371, we're going to do the prayer.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
as an example that the power of prayer does work when it's meant to, I did have a very short trip, just 2 days, to go see Terry Schneier, our immediate past president. It was her birthday on the 4th. And it's amazing because we saw Terry. She was in the hospital for a very long time. She had feeding tubes. She had to learn how to eat and speak and walk and do all of that. She was on the walker, and then she was on the cane. After 4 months of physical therapy, several times a week, living in Virginia with all of that inclement weather, she's bounding up and down the stairs like a regular person, able to carry her granddaughter and continuing with her membership at Emet and telling me that she will be an associate member in Virginia because she values her full membership here with our community. But it was really delightful to see because we know how fragile she's been. And so prayer works, community works, and that hard work that is available if you can to take advantage of, to go as far as you can. Duke right here, he's a miracle child. You know, when we were in Israel, he fought through it all. He could have died within minutes, just minutes. And here he is, alive and thriving and well. Of course, Sue won't let him go. She keeps him going. And we're very grateful to God for that. So now, if you'll rise as the ark is open, we're going to do the Aleinu. And you can find that in your Siddurim on the bottom of page 586, and it continues on the next few pages. 586. Let's read the paragraph right before, in the middle. Let us now praise the sovereign of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Therefore we bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is sovereign over all, the Holy and Blessed One. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakom, l'teit gedola liyotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzo, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lefnei melech malchei hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosed aretz, u'moshev yekaro b'shamayim mima'al, v'shechinatu zo, ve'gov hei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes ulato, kakatu v'torato, ve'nata hayom, ve'yadata hayom, v'shevota el vavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, ve'al haaretz, mitachat ein od, ein od, ein od. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. And let us read together on the top of page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. Please be seated. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have moved into the spiritual dimension. And as is our custom here, if you've lost anybody in the last 7 days, please rise and say their name. The last 7 days. If you've lost anyone in the last 30 days, please, the Shloshim period. Judy? Wow. Good for her. May she have safe passage into the heavenly realm. And if anyone's lost anyone in the last 11 months, Sunny. Well, your memory is working very well. I don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. You just did a great job. Maybe their names will be for a blessing. Okay. Okay. All right. No soul should be left out. Natalie, you had someone to share. And over here, Harriet. Bob. Hold on one second. Amy, you have something? Wendy? Is Lillian still enjoying the plant? Shout, I forgot. May their names, as we say them aloud, have the kavanah, the intention, and the holiness that we bring to them through our memory. If anyone is observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's death, please rise, or if you're standing, say their names. Joy and Bob. Sunny. If you do Ancestry.com or 23andMe with Mark Reichert, some other cousins might contact you. You never know. He's going to teach a class in the next Jewish year. Anybody else have a yahrzeit and anniversary of a loved one's death? Well, at this time, we all rise and we say the mourner's Kaddish, as is our custom, John Flip. I'll raise my hand when I say V'imaru, and you all say Amen, and may it be so, that our loved ones and God will be celebrated and praised for what they have brought to our life. Yit Gadol, V'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divarach Eruteh Ve'amlich Malchuteh, V'chaye Chon V'yomeh Chon, V'chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael, Va'adallah B'zman Kari V'imru. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Nevarach Le'olam U'lomei Amaya. Yit barach, v'yish tabach, v'yit pa'ar, v'yit ramon, v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei d'kudashah, v'richu, le'ela min kol, birchata v'shirata, tush bechata, v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alama v'imru, yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol, Yisrael v'imaru, amen, oseh shalom b'imromah, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yimeru, Amen. May God, who is the creator of everything that we see and that which we don't see, that spark of holiness that remains long after our loved ones have moved on. May God grant those in the heavenly realm peace for all eternity, those of you that are struggling at this time with grief and mourning, and all the world, so many lives that have been lost around the globe, as together we say. Amen. Please be seated, and we will have some announcements from our president, Diana Wolf. Here, if you want. Oh, then come up here. I'm a sharing person. I think they were just trying to make life easier. Come forth.
Life is never easy.
You even have a double portion. You've got 2 microphones.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It was so nice to see so many new people here today. If you didn't get a chance to talk to me and say hello, please make sure you do, because I'm anxious to talk to you. Welcome to everyone who's here in our building. Lots of nice people today. And those at home watching on our live stream, thanks Mark Tannen for making that work. Our service tonight is sponsored by Marianne Rothstein in loving memory of her father, Max Rothstein. And our flowers are sponsored by Judy and Neil Fradkin in celebration of Mother's Day for her mom, Nancy Harrison, and her daughter, Mallory Orlick, celebrating her very first Mother's Day. Mazel tov. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. For those of you who are mothers and those who are saying, I'm really glad I'm not a mother, but I think I'll celebrate anyway. Thank you. Wonderful Rabbi Cantor Didi. That's a great service. I loved it. And to our wonderful musical director, Dan Spector, and our fabulous volunteer musicians, Marianne on violin, Amy on baritone uke, and the inimitable Stacy on percussion. Fabulous guys. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed it, but Stacy harmonizes with Rabbi Cantor Didi. Sounds great. Hilda, we miss you. Our wonderful harpist is recovering. We're waiting for her to come back. And Judy Evans, yeah, she's recovering too. I said her name for the Mishabit. Our next service is Saturday, May 14, at 10:30 in the morning, followed by lunch at Truxton's. And we do have a baby naming, so I've been told you have to be there. So I will be there. A reminder, Dan's class, his Zoom music appreciation class, Wednesday, May 25 at 7:30 p.m. Such fun. You learn so much stuff. Of course, there's no test. If there was a test, I probably would fail it, but okay. It's very good, very interesting. And speaking of Dan, you all got the flyer? It looks like this, and if you didn't get it, you know that he is going to have a fantastic concert here on May 21st. We call it Dan and Company presents Jewish Composers Are as American as Apple Pie. Come join Dan Spector, Jack O'Rudy on bass, and Mark Van Aken on drums as they take us on a fabulous musical journey through the American Songbook. Now, we have a special guest? It's a secret. So you have to actually come. Now, this is not going to be live streamed. This is in person. So you have to come. And it's only $42 a ticket. And we will have desserts at intermission and drinks and, of course, apple pie because, American. And a 50-50 raffle, which is always fun. So where is it going to be? Here, Saturday, May 21st at 7:30 p.m. You have to reserve no later than May 19, which just happens to be the day of our congregation meeting here. And if you want to bring your money that day, just call me and tell me you're coming so we know how many are coming, but you can actually come and pay that day if you want to. Flyers here if you need to see it, and I hope you'll all come because it's going to be a night out with all of us fun people. So now please make sure you attend our congregation meeting on Thursday, May 19 at 7 o'clock. And yes, it will be live streamed. But for those of you who can possibly attend in person, please come. We really need you there because we have some extremely important things to discuss and share with you and many important decisions we need to make. So you've been sent an email with the links to the agenda and the minutes of last year's meeting and a link to read and approve those minutes, and a list of the new Board of Trustees for 2022-2023 with a link for your approval. And the new information that I want to share with you tonight is that our wonderful Marianne Rothstein has agreed to be our Executive Vice President. And I'm so thrilled, I cannot tell you. Now, it's not that I don't love being president. Forgive me. I love being president, but 4 years is enough. This year will be my last year as president. I'm so glad. But I promise I will be right there in Marianne's pocket helping her as an immediate past president when she takes over. She will not be alone. And I have a book this big that says, How Do You Be a President? I've spent the last year putting that together. So please come to our congregation meeting. It's going to be great. You can vote from live stream. You have 48 hours to vote. Send an email to me. If it goes to spam, I'll pick it up. Don't worry about it. Now, Mark Tannen's class on Jewish history meets on the first and third Tuesday of the month at 7 on Zoom. And Torah study meets at 9:30 a.m. the morning after a Friday service. That's like tomorrow. And just before a Saturday service, which is next week. Roger Peterson continues to conduct his Monday evening meditation class on Zoom at 7, and he welcomes you all. If you need his email, I'll give it to you. Our next Friday service will be May 20th with a Shabbat box dinner from Lisa's Bon Appetit for $25 a person at 5 o'clock, followed by the service at 6:30. An email went out today, and if you need to let Marsha Crabtree know if you're coming, and what your choice of entree is going to be. Beef burgundy, Veracruz fish, or chicken piccata. Again, you can pay online. Just click on the link and have the cost charged to your account, or you can pay by check. But we must have your reservation if you're coming to that dinner no later than Friday, the 13th of May. Now, don't worry about Friday the 13th. Just get your reservation in no later than, please. And no last-minute walk-ins. We will not listen to anybody pleading, crying, begging, getting on their knees, or any of that other good stuff. You want to come, you got to reserve. And we hope you'll come, because it's fun. All right. Because the week of May 16th is so busy, our lunch bunch will be this coming Wednesday on May 11th at 12:30. That's at the PAN on PCH&O. So RSVP to me if you haven't already. We generally have about 16 people at our lunch bunch. We hope you'll join us. And after the service tonight, we're having dinner at Alfredo's on Narbonne. Let Rabbi know if you're joining us. Did I forget? Oh, there's no sisterhood meeting this month. Pat, is there one in June? Well, we'll announce it later. But there's no sisterhood meeting, so I don't want you to come up and say, you didn't mention sisterhood. That's because sisterhood isn't this week. Okay, anything else? I'd leave anything else. Bark.
If I could make a little comment.
He's going. I just dropped the microphone.
That was your second portion.
This is on the status of Sergei.
Don't worry about it, Diana, just leave it.
I think most of you know who he is. He's a Ukrainian, was living in Ukraine, left Ukraine on February 27th, went to Moscow, came on the last flight out of Moscow to the United States, and I believe he arrived here February 27th. He contacted our congregation about the very beginning of March. And we provided some help to him and trying to get him housing. We were able to help make some contacts. He's now living in Santa Barbara, okay? I talked to him earlier this week. He indicated he was going back to the Ukraine. His wife is in Kiev. His wife could not come with him. He has joint citizenship. He has U.S. and actually Russian citizenship. He was living in the Ukraine when all this happened. His wife is a Ukrainian citizen. She could not come with him because she doesn't have a U.S. passport. Okay, so he's been trying to contact her. The phone calls he's made do not go through because people are not picking up. They're afraid they might be being recorded. So he hasn't been able to reach her. He's still trying. He's still trying to decide whether to go back. He's held off a little bit because he's applied for a scholarship at a university in Santa Barbara to get another degree, this one in physics. He has almost the equivalent of a PhD in math. All right? He's been looking around trying to get a job. He speaks English very well. He lived in the United States, and that's how he got his U.S. citizenship when he was going to college. So a little background, we've been keeping in touch, and he seemed to be progressing very well. Through the contacts we were able to make, he now has an apartment he's living in, provided through one of our contacts, and in the center of Santa Barbara. And it's a great place for him at a minimal cost. And so he's really thrilled with the location, but he loves our temple. He's been to the Reformed congregation in Santa Barbara, which is a much larger congregation than ours. It's about 1,000-member congregation. So it's a very large congregation there. But he says we have as many people to Friday night services as they do.
And he likes us better. Mark,
Yeah,
thank
he
you so
does.
much for sharing. Okay, so now, thank you, Mark.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. A couple things. First of all, Torah studies only the Saturday following the Friday service, not before the Saturday morning service.
We're not doing it on
No.
Okay, did you get that? No Torah study just before the Saturday service. It's only right after the Friday service. So it's tomorrow and right after the third Friday service. Okay?
Right, but actually that particular Saturday will be off because we are going on that cruise for our anniversary.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that'll come out by email.
Right. So I'm going to have to listen to all of you say how wonderful it is that Dan was there. We had a cruise that we were going to go in January, but to keep you all safe, and COVID was rampant at that time, we canceled it. And so we're going to Alaska. So I will actually, hopefully, the wonderful concert will be recorded. And also Diana, Dan's mother in Buffalo would like to watch it in real time, so we might have to make some adjustments. But we really want everyone to be here. It's different in person. And you can feel when we have the energy in this room. When? No, I'm talking about the concert. No. Well, Dan's mother wants to watch it in real time in Buffalo, and I just want it recorded so I can watch it after the fact. Well, please make every effort to be here, and we'll have some details sent out, whatever we do. So anyway, he's just so popular, everybody's got to see everything he does. So, all righty. So now we're going to bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim. Sonny, you have something you'd like to say? Yes.
For those of us who cannot attend the congregational meeting, either in person or on live stream, is it going to be recorded? Am I going to be able to?
Yeah, if it's live streamed, it's recorded. Yeah, so.
If you go on our website, you will be able to see our YouTube.
Well, I don't know that the congregational meeting is going to be on YouTube, but what we can do is if any of you are not able to attend, we need to know in advance to make some arrangements, because if you're going to vote on the very important issues, they only have 2 or 3 days to do it, correct? Right, so you will have to.
I will have the 48 hours. The question is that
Okay.
it's going to be 4 a.m. where I am.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll make it. Judy, yes. Right. So if any of you, we're thrilled that you have a burning desire to be a part of the congregational meeting, and we have very active participants in all political endeavors here, including the synagogue life. And those of you in the live stream world that are out there as well, just please contact me or Diana in advance of the meeting so that we can make the appropriate arrangements so that your vote can be counted. Yes. Okay. And also, if there's some reason, an extenuating circumstance that you cannot attend Dan's concert, but you'd like to, also contact Diana or myself, and we can see what can be arranged. If you pay the fee, maybe we can have a private code for that as well. So, that being said, we're going to bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly benediction, and then we're going to do, what are we doing, Adon Olam?
Osei Shalom.
Oh, we're doing Osei Shalom.
For her heart.
Ah, okay.
Sando.
Yes, okay. All right, so please rise if you're able to, and put your arm around or elbow or hug yourself. As we contemplate God and that which makes us holy, we ask that God be with us in all of our comings and goings. May God's countenance shine upon you and be with you always and grant you peace. And after each verse you say, Kain, Yehi, Ratzon, it's may it be God's will. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav alecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Kain Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Harriet, would you raise your hand? Where's Harriet? Okay, so Richard, you're right in front of Harriet. Harriet, Richard's in front of you. To see Richard, introduce yourselves. I gave him a membership packet. And in the back row, we have some Harriet. Harriet, turn around. Look. Okay. All right. We just want to make sure that everyone is included. Nobody gets left out here at Temple Emet. We are all family, and we're all ready to have margaritas and Mexican food. It's our Shabbos meal this evening. And as Diana said, after the Saturday service, we will go to Truxton's. The third Friday will be our catered meal, and possibly in June, maybe we'll revisit Chinese. So, are we ready? Deep breath in, deep breath out. May peace be spread out throughout the world by the prayers that we have done here tonight, the love, the friendship, and community that we share, and that blessing that we bring through our holiness of spirit and our reflection of the divine. Thank you for everyone that participated. Thank you for coming. Please join us at Alfredo's on Arlington or Narbonne, right before Lomita. Shabbat Shalom.